Hi, this is New Time on Silkway TV channel. We introduce you with the most visible news and important events that happen throughout this week in Kazakhstan and Central Asia. More details on politics, economy, social and cultural life with opinions from the most recognizable experts of Kazakhstan and world. I'm Ainur Mangalin. This is what you'll see today. Economic and cultural bridges, what connects Kazakhstan and China in modern geopolitics. Reporters of the New Time researched each of the aspects of bilateral cooperation. Kazakhstan to produce Turkish military drones starting in 2024. Why does it matter and what does it mean for further interaction with so-called Turkic world? Exclusive interview of Balzhan Samigulina. One of the Kazakh villages was named the best tourist destination, becoming a winner of the UN's World Tourism Organization special program. China fully supports territorial integrity of Kazakhstan. With such an important message for Astana and other global players, Xi Jinping welcomed Kassym-Jomart Tokayev in Beijing. This week, the president of Kazakhstan arrived in the capital of China. The busy program of the official visit included meetings with the leader of the People's Republic of China, premier of the State Council, as well as the participation in the Third Belt and Road Forum. Kassym-Jomart Tokayev also talked to the heads of the largest companies in China. New Times reporter Dauren Isagulov followed the agenda of the president's visit to China.
The Great Hall of People in Beijing is considered to be the epicenter of Chinese political life. Here, the official visit of Kassym-Jomart Tokayev to China began. Within the walls of the Great East Hall, the Kazakh delegation was greeted by Guard of Honor and the President of the People's Republic of China, Xi Jinping himself. President Tokayev noted that he accepted the invitation of Chinese leader to take part in the Third Belt and Road Forum for international cooperation with great pleasure.
Since the first days, Kazakhstan has been firmly supporting your global initiative and actively participating in its promotion. We always remember that just a decade ago, it was announced by your speech brought in Astana. Taking this opportunity, I would like to congratulate you on the excellent results of the mega project.
In turn, Xi Jinping thanks Kassym-Jomart Tokayev for accepting the invitation and noted the importance of strengthening cooperation. The Chinese leader also highlighted that his country fully supports the territorial integrity of Kazakhstan.
Healthy, stable and dynamic Chinese-Kazakh relations can strengthen trust between the two countries and decisively contribute to maintaining peace and stability. Regardless of how the international situation changes, China and Kazakhstan will adhere to their initial aspirations and help each other. Over the years of friendship, our countries managed to build an eternal comprehensive strategic partnership. 10 years ago, I initiated the Belt and Road Initiative in Kazakhstan.
At the end of the meeting, the delegation of the two countries signed a number of documents. They touch upon issues of economic cooperation. The one significant example, agreements made on the development of the Trans-Caspian International Transportation Route.
These documents provide the development of multimodal transportation and container transportation across the territory of Kazakhstan. A joint group will be created to deal with digitalization, as well as simplifying the process of passing goods between China and Europe through the territory of Kazakhstan.
New opportunities for the logistics and products delivery will appear due to the agreement achieved between Kazakh National Postal Operator and the largest logistics company in China, Yotong Express. The partnership will include not only delivery of goods from the largest sites of China to the countries of Central Asia, but also will implicate creation of large-scale regional logistics hub in Kazakhstan.
Yotong Express will invest in technology and the development of warehouse infrastructure in Kazakhstan, the development of an air hub to improve the courier delivery service of Kazpost. It is also about the developing transit potential. Together we will provide products for transit routes of China-Europe, China-USA and China-Australia through Kazakhstan.
The second day of the official visit to Beijing began with the participation in the opening ceremony of the Third Belt and Road Forum for the International Cooperation. The head of state emphasized the key role of the flagship project, the Trans-Caspian International Transport Route.
Two intergovernmental agreements on the development of the Trans-Caspian route have been signed between Kazakhstan and China. I am confident that they will soon bring tangible results. For more effective coordination of our efforts, I propose to create a partnership network of major strategic ports, logistics centers and postal hubs.
President Tokayev also added that over the past 15 years, Kazakhstan has allocated more than $35 billion to ensure transit transportation. According to him, being a huge landlocked country with a common border with China, Kazakhstan is making serious efforts to become a transport and logistics hub of international importance.
We have launched such major infrastructure projects as the Kazakh-Chinese Logistics Center in Lianyungang, the Korgos Dry Port, the Western Europe-Western China Transit Highway, and the railway corridor from China to Iran. It is planned to lay 1,300 kilometers of new railway tracks within 3 years, open a third railway checkpoint on the border with China, and build new dry ports at Bakhty and Khalzhat. These are real examples of Kazakhstan's major economic projects.
Overall, during the visit, 30 commercial documents were signed for a total of $16.5 billion, including investments and trade agreements, agreements on the transfer of technology for production, and the opening of credit lines. Dauren Sagulov, New Time.
Kazakhstan's diplomatic relations with China have already spanned more than 30 years. Beijing remains one of Astana's largest trading partners. The intensity of China's cooperation with our country is not surprising. Kazakhstan is the largest territory in Central Asia, and China undoubtedly regards this region as one of the most important areas of its interest, says political analyst Ruslan Izimov. My colleague Dauren Sagulov spoke with the expert earlier this week. Please watch the highlights of the interview right now.
Ruslan, it's a pleasure to have you here. Thank you very much. Let me start from this point. This week we witnessed the meeting of the two leaders in Beijing, and Xi Jinping emphasized that China will always support the sovereignty and territorial integrity of Kazakhstan. Why is he focusing on this again, on this topic? It's the second time we hear this statement, I guess. Is there something more than just a diplomatic politeness? First and foremost, this diplomatic message that China always supports Kazakhstan, its sovereignty and so on. But there are also more specific, deeper reasons. They are related to the events currently taking place in Eastern Europe, in Ukraine. Against this backdrop, our partner China has intensified concerns that its investments in Kazakhstan may be at risk. Secondly, with such statements, China is attempting to convey the message that this does not align with China's interests. Okay, what are China's interests in Kazakhstan? What's the importance of our country politically and economically for them?
Если мы попытаемся посмотреть на 30 с лишним лет,
If we look back in 30 years since the establishment of diplomatic relations between our countries, China's first priority was security in the Central Asia. That's why structures like the Shanghai Cooperation Organization were created. One of its tasks is the prevention of extremist and terrorist threats in the region. Central Asian countries are significant to China as a transport and transit corridor, connecting it to its major partner, Europe. This is why the Belt and Road Initiative was initiated. It allows us to expand our transport, logistics, and infrastructure potential. Kazakhstan energy resources are of significant interest to China. This includes critical metals used in the production of high-tech goods, as well as uranium and many other resources. Two global powers, China and USA, have been waging a trade war for several years. This year we have seen even more tensions between them. States are more than just a partner to Kazakhstan, it's obviously. Does their confrontation pose threats and risks for us?
если лаконично и коротко отвечать на этот вопрос, конечно, да.
The short answer is yes, of course. As you mentioned, the United States is an important partner for Kazakhstan, and China is equally important for our foreign policy. Over the years, while trying to pursue a multi-vector foreign policy, we aim to have the ability to cooperate with all key players in global politics. However, when our partners are in confrontational relationships, it naturally affects us. For instance, we participate in various international structures, like the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, Collective Security Treaty Organization, and the Eurasian Economic Union. If our partners, such as Russia or China, make anti-Western statements, it puts us in an uncomfortable position. We're compelled to emphasize that these statements do not represent our position. Or, for example, when the US Secretary of State visits us and uses our platform to send critical messages to China, it can be challenging for us. The last question is about economic impact. How do you respond on fears of some of the members of our society that China and its investments are absorbing the economy of Kazakhstan?
В целом, опасения и фобии в отношении Китая в казахстанском обществе достаточно устойчивые.
In general, concerns and phobias regarding China in our society are quite resilient. This is supported by numerous sociological surveys and expert interviews. However, it's important to note that these concerns are not always justified. Each year, the Central Asia Barometer conducts surveys of public opinion in our countries. According to their findings, the level of xenophobia in Kazakhstan is higher than in all other Central Asian countries. The origins of these phobias can be discussed at length. For example, during the Soviet period, there was deliberate anti-Chinese propaganda. Speaking of concern that Chinese investments will absorb our economy, China is not the leading investor in Kazakhstan. European countries take the top spots in terms of investments. Furthermore, in recent years, we have observed a decrease in the volume of Chinese investments in Kazakhstan.
The second and the last day of the official visit of Kassym-Jomart Tokayev to China marked a significant point. He arrived in Xinjiang for the first time since taking office in 2019. In the main industrial city of this region, Urumqi, the head of state met with the Communist Party Secretary of Xinjiang Uyghur Autonomous Region. The agenda included issues of interaction between Kazakhstan and Xinjiang in the fields of trade, industry, transport and agriculture.
Speaking of mutual trade of Kazakhstan with Xinjiang, the existing mechanisms of regional cooperation are of particular importance. If properly used, it is possible to make significant progress. Kazakhstan is ready to increase the supply of various products to your region. We're talking about metallurgical, petrochemical, engineering, food products, as well as construction materials. As for the potential for cooperation in the agri-food sector, we believe that there remains great potential here, and Kazakhstan could become a stable supplier of environmentally friendly agricultural products to the Chinese market.
We will deepen our trade and economic cooperation, focusing on such areas as agriculture, cross-boundary trade and energy. We will establish interaction between our scientific organizations, universities and enterprises, encourage our joint ventures to invest and open businesses in Kazakhstan and Xinjiang.
Xinjiang has been in focus of Kazakh politicians and businessmen for several years now. Up to 1.5 million ethnic Kazakhs live on this territory. The region's foreign trade is 80% focused on Central Asian states. Therefore, the economic ups and downs of Xinjiang have an impact on all countries in the region. Kazakhstan is a key partner. Over the past 6 months, trade turnover between our republic and the border region has reached $85 billion. Kazakh president also visited the university in Beijing. He spent time learning Chinese back in 1984. Beijing Language and Culture University, with its multicultural student community, became alma mater for thousands of students from all around the globe, including Kazakhstan. Kazakh students willingly study Chinese language and culture in Beijing, but surprisingly, more Chinese students now come to Kazakhstan's capital, Astana, to learn Kazakh language, culture and traditions. Baljan Samigulin examined the immersive effect of cultural exchange.
This is Confucius Institute, a hub of cultural exchange that bridges the gap between Kazakhstan and China. Being located in Kazakh capital, it serves as a beacon of friendship and understanding, where Kazakh students learn Chinese language and Chinese youngsters in turn introduce closely with Kazakh culture.
Min adım Aku Kıtayşa adım Koldohua. Мен Сеншет университеті Орыс тілі институт қазақ тілі мамандығында студент оқымын. Қытайдың Шинжаңдағы адамдар қазақ тілі сөйлейді. Мені қазақ тілі қызық тұрады.
Қазақстанның тарихы өте ұнайды. Болашақта мен Қазақстанда жұмыс істейді.
Ойынша қазақ тілі өте қызықты. Қазақ тілі маған жақсы көремін. Менің ойынша Қазақстанның астанада табиғи өте жақсы, әдемі, бірақ
The Confucius Institute was established in 2007. Since then, more than 10,000 Kazakh students became fluent in Chinese, thanks to the educational programs offered here. The institute, as its director Yang Lei says, stands as a vital bridge that fosters cultural connections of two neighboring countries.
Currently, the demand among those who want to learn Chinese has increased. At the very beginning, during the recruitment, the number of applicants was 200-300 per year, but now only in one semester the number of registered students is more than 200.
And this is Beijing Language and Cultural University, known as the Little United Nations, due to its diverse student environment. President of Kazakhstan made a language internship here back in 1984. These days, the university again opened up its doors to the dear guest. Kassym-Jomart Tokayev marked a special moment of cultural enrichment in the hall of Alma Mater by unveiling a bust of medieval philosopher and scientist Abu Nasr al-Farabi, one of the brightest minds of his time, born in Otrar, modern southern Kazakhstan.
A great thinker of the East who made a significant contribution to the development of the entire world civilization, Al-Farabi was born and grew up on the territory of Kazakhstan. He traveled many countries in search of knowledge, played an outstanding role in the formation of mathematics, natural science, astronomy, philology, and carried out research in other areas of science. His contribution to the development of mankind is immeasurable. His works are a treasure that has entered the golden fount of world scientific thought. The 1150th anniversary of Al-Farabi, which was celebrated in 2020, was included in the global list of UNESCO anniversaries.
President of Kazakhstan also met with his former professor Liu Shizin and had a few minutes talk with Kazakh students in pure Chinese. The educational exchange between Kazakhstan and China has proven to be a powerful cultural bridge between the two nations. This form of diplomacy contributes to the strengthening the cooperation between the two countries and paves the way for a more interconnected future. Baljan Samigulina, Silkway TV channel, Astana.
From the new gas supply contract between Kazakhstan and China to the agreement between the Kazakh government and the Emirati holding to modernize the airport in Astana, Kazinform International's news agency presents a review of foreign media coverage about Kazakhstan this week. Reuters reported on October 17th that Kazakhstan's Kazakh Gas and China's PetroChina International signed a new gas supply contract during Kazakh President Kassym-Jomart Tokayev's visit to Beijing. A Chinese industry official with knowledge of the deal, who declined to be identified due to company policy, said the contract is an extension of an existing one, reads the article. Kazakhstan has been sending natural gas to China for several years, although the quantity supplied has decreased over time. Initially, this reduction was due to decreased demand, and later it was influenced by higher domestic consumption. However, this month, Russia, largely cut off from European markets, started exporting gas to Kazakhstan and Uzbekistan, which could allow Astana to free up more of its own gas for export. According to Reuters calculations based on official customs data, China imported an average of 4.5 million metric tons, or about 6.2 billion cubic meters of natural gas a year from Kazakhstan between 2018 and 2022, reads the article. Turkey's Anadolu agency published an article on October 17th featuring Kazakh Foreign Ministry's official statement on the war in Israel. Kazakhstan on Tuesday called on Israeli authorities to refrain from the disproportionate use of power against Palestinian civilians, reads the article. It cites the statement, which said, "In this situation, it is crucial to comply with norms of international law and follow the relevant resolutions of the UN Security Council, which secure the legal rights of the Palestinian people," reads the statement. China Daily published an article on October 18th quoting Kazakh President Kassym-Jomart Tokayev in Beijing, who said that Kazakhstan will build 1,300 kilometers of new railways in the next 3 years in energy with the Belt and Road Initiative. Following the fundamental interest of the people of Kazakhstan and China, the spirit of friendship and eternal strategic partnership, our country is firmly committed to further promoting the high goals of the Belt and Road Initiative, Tokayev said. Italy's Agenzia Nova reported on October 17th the agreement between Kazakhstan and Emirati Terminals Holding will modernize the airport in Astana. The airport of the capital of Kazakhstan will become a large multimodal hub thanks to an agreement signed by the Kazakh Prime Minister Alihan Smailov with Terminals Holding, a United Arab Emirates company, reads the article. It also says the Emirati company will carry out a comprehensive assessment of the capital's airport activities and subsequently take over operational management to improve the quality of passenger service and the efficiency of the airport as a whole. That's it for the press review this week. We will continue following the most interesting and important media coverage on Kazakhstan and this region. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Kazakhstan issued a statement on the military conflict between Israel and Islamist militant movement Hamas. Diplomats called on the parties for an immediate ceasefire and compliance with international law. Currently, Israel is preparing to conduct a ground operation to destroy Hamas militants. The UN reports that more than 1 million Palestinians have fled their homes in Gaza Strip as a result of Israeli shelling. According to the official data, the death toll in the Palestinian-Israeli conflict has exceeded 4,000 people. Our foreign ministry stated that there are no Kazakh citizens among the dead or injured.
Kazakhstan condemns the attacks by Hamas against civilians in Israel and the capture of hostages, including foreigners. We support the call of the UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres on immediate and unconditional release of hostages and ensure their unimpeded access to humanitarian aid. Kazakhstan also calls on Israel to refrain from disproportionate use of force, leading to numerous victims among the civilian population of the Gaza Strip and the destruction of civil infrastructure.
Kazakhstan will start to produce Turkish Anka drones in 2024, said a manager responsible for the development of UAS programs at Turkish Aerospace Industries Erol Oguz in an interview to the New Time. The amount of investment is currently under consideration. This project stems from a memorandum of cooperation signed in May 2022 between Kazakhstan Engineering National Company and Turkish Aerospace Industries. Cooperation in defense sector includes not only localization of Anka drones assembly in Kazakhstan under Turkish license, but also implicates the transfer of needed technologies. This strategic move will enable Kazakhstan to establish its own unmanned aviation industry capable of designing and manufacturing modern drones, said Kazakh officials. Earlier, Turkish attack drones have been tested in the southern region of Kazakhstan. According to Mr. Oguz, the Anka unmanned complex has previously demonstrated its effectiveness in combat operations in the Middle East and the Nagorno-Karabakh area. My colleague Baljan Samigulina interviewed Erol Oguz from Turkish Aerospace Industries earlier this week in Astana and is ready to share details of the bilateral cooperation with Kazakh defense industry. Please watch the fragment of the interview right now.
In May 2022, it was announced that Kazakhstan will co-produce drones Anka. And how is development in this regard? When can we expect first drones to appear in Kazakhstan?
Currently, I would like to mention about the current situation of the program. So we have already a cooperation with the Kazakhstan government regarding Anka products. But we would like to develop or increase the cooperation or your contribution, the Kazakhstan defense industry's contribution to our program. So that's why there is still a discussion and intention to provide a local cooperation for the co-development and co-manufacturing or joint manufacturing of the Anka drones.
When can we expect already maybe some first drones again to appear?
So it is not easy to give an exact date, but you know, those kind of large-scale programs and projects should be understood in detail mutually. that's why still we have some serious discussions with the top management level, from our companies or from the government part, or some companies who can be a part of that program. So actually we are ready to start any time, but of course it takes some time. So we are expecting to be more clear within the next year, and hopefully it will be launched within the next year.
Is it the only one project we are talking about with Kazakhstan, or maybe you have any other plans for other projects with our country?
As you're aware, Turkish Aerospace Company is a huge company and has lots of different products, mostly military products, and some of them can be used within the civilian market. The UAV program is the first serious program, but of course there is some other alternatives, candidate programs for a potential cooperation. But right now, the more serious one and on the table, it is the UAV program. But of course, there are some other alternatives.
As far as I know, you may correct me, Kazakhstan is the first country from Central Asia to collaborate with your company, right?
More or less, yes, because maybe we can say that at the same time we have launched two programs within that region. So, but we can say that more or less, simultaneously, there are, two new customers in this region.
Full interview with Erol Oguz is available on our YouTube channel. You can use the QR code on your screens to watch it now. Moving on to some other topics, the performances of the Astana Opera and Astana Ballet artists drew enthusiastic responses from the Swiss audience. Kazakh Ballet Evening was held on the eve of the Republic Day in Geneva. On the stage of the Batman des Forces Motrices Theatre, honored artist of Kazakhstan Bakhtiar Adamjan and Astana Opera soloist Anastasia Zaklinskaya presented the production of The Young Men and Death, legendary ballet by French choreographer Roland Petit. Through the dance, the artist managed to convey all the emotions and feelings of the main character. The performance of the Astana Ballet artists, who presented the Carmen Sieu masterpiece to the music of Georges Bizet, was also vivid. Kazakhstan's village Satte has been named the best tourist destination during the UN World Tourism Organization's 25th Assembly in Samarkand. The special program, which nominates best touristic villages around the globe, was launched in 2021. Satte is located in the Kolsay-Kuldyare National Park in the Almaty region. It now boasts 90 guest houses and 30 hotels, doubling from 2019. Many locals are now in the tourism business. The UN's Best Tourist Villages program aims to boost rural development and well-being through tourism. In just 2 years, over 70 villages from 40 countries have received this award. And that's it for today. This is how we saw this week in Kazakhstan. More news and special projects about our country you can watch on Silkway TV channel. Stay tuned and see you later.